The following contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
You're welcome.
You couldn't let me have her, could you?
What?
This is a girl I really like, and you had to swoop in there.
What's going on?
Chandler was totally flirting with a hot delivery girl.
Thank you for that. I was not flirting.
It's okay, I don't care. It's fine.
Really?
Really?
No big deal. I do it all the time.
So, you flirt with guys all the time?
Sure. It doesn't mean anything. Just like I know it doesn't mean anything with you.
Okay, but there's a big difference, all right? You are a lot hotter than I am.
True story.
Chandler, this actually bothers you?
Yes, it does bother me. I think it would bother a lot of people. Rachel, when you were going out with Ross, did it bother you when he flirted with other women?
No, it bothered me when he slept with other women.
And thank you for that.
But you know, I never really had anything to worry about. Ross was never very good at the flirting thing.
What are you talking about? It worked with you.
Oh, you know what? No, you're right. We met, you flirted, and then bam! 9 years later, you had me.
Okay, let me get this straight. It's okay for you to flirt, but not for me.
Oh, I'm so glad we cleared that up. Look, I'm sorry, but some things are different for men and for women.
All right, go on. Teach me something about men and women.
Okay, I've already taught you so much already, but whatever. See, when you flirt with a guy, you think, I'm just flirting, no big deal. But the guy is thinking, finally, somebody who wants to sleep with me.
No way!
It's true.
Well, that's pathetic.
Again, true.
And this goes for all guys?
All guys that are awake. Then we go to sleep, and all guys from the other end of the world wake up and behave the exact same way.
You're crazy, man. You're a loser. Playoffs?
It's the Mark and Lowell Show.
The Mark and who?
Starring the meteorologist who does it for the viewers,
Smoke!
Lowell Meltzer.
Can you get out of here?
And the man who rides the coattails of his friends and family, Mark Ronick.
Hey guys, it's enough with the amplifier.
And now, here they are. Radio's equivalent of a dial-up connection.
Hello, boys.
Mark and Lowell.
Hello and welcome, everybody, to the Mark and Lowell Show. I am your host, Mark Ronick, and here with me, as always, my co-host, Lowell Meltzer. Hello, Lowell.
Hello. What's cooking?
What's cooking, man? I know you went to a bachelor party this past weekend after our big Baltimore show, so I'm curious how that was.
The bachelor party that I was very tired.
I'm sure you were, because you had worked the morning that day, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to introduce Lisa first? And
Sure.
Then we can talk about this.
I'm already just seeing kind of where this is going and just kind of laughing internally.
Here she is. It's Lisa Runyon. Hello, Lisa.
Hello, boys.
Welcome back from your vacation.
Thank you.
And I do want to hear a couple of things that you have tipped me off to. I want to hear about. So, all right, but let's first find out from Lowell. Now, you had worked Saturday morning. You worked at WBAL, right?
Yeah, Saturday was really a hard day.
Yeah.
Up at a little after 3.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the station. Show starts at 5.
Right.
Get off. We did get off a half hour early, which was nice.
How do you get off a half hour early when the news has got a scheduled time?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The 9 o'clock hour is in the summer especially is kind of all over the place. Like some weekends there's special sporting events like the U.S. Open tennis or cycling or things like that they put on.
Okay.
And that 9 o'clock hour gets completely wiped out.
Ah, gotcha.
Other times they may do the 9 o'clock hour at 7 o'clock and then you're done at 8, which is awesome.
Now, is the 9 o'clock hour, is that really more of like a fluff hour? It's a more lighthearted news hour?
Yeah. There's more. They do like a little bit of serious news, and then it's mostly like interviews and segments,
cooking segments,
like Home Depot will come in and talk about energy saving things that you can buy, and segments like that.
Yeah.
So But this week it was instead of being 9 to 10, it was 8:30 to 9:30 because they had some sort of programming that was on.
All right, that's good.
So we got out a little early. So then I came home, but then I had a haircut at 11.
Oh.
So I couldn't really rest that much.
Yeah, see, I was wondering, I thought maybe you had taken a nap because it was unlike you. You were actually the last of the whole group to arrive at the Baltimore location.
Well, yeah, so what happened was we said we were all going to get there at 12:30. Mm-hmm. When I got home from the haircut, it was like 11:35, and I was like, let me take a quick snooze, a quick 15-minuter.
Oh.
And
those never go over well.
Never works out for me.
No, and then I woke up and it was like 12:20.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, and I didn't want to bother you. There were a couple of moments where I wanted to just text you and just be like, hey, are you coming?
Hey, champ.
And then I just said, you know what? He got up early this morning. He's going to be a little cranky. I don't want to give him any fuel for his fire.
Yeah.
None.
So, but I think he did. I saw one text and like I wasn't even like ready, but I was like on my way.
Yes, right. I remember that.
So then we did the show.
Yes,
and
that took a long time to do. It was a little over an hour show that everyone got to hear, but there was that break that we took when we were going to start that TV show trivia.
Yeah.
And that break went on for at least an hour, I'd say.
Yeah, that was probably not a good idea to do that break.
No.
Yeah, well, we learned from our mistakes.
Yes.
So then I think I got home around like 4:30.
Yeah.
So then I said, all right, I can do a solid hour.
And actually, let me backtrack. When you hadn't arrived yet, so I got there and Evan and Casey were there. Dennis hadn't arrived yet. Soon after he showed up. And when I walked into the room, Evan was putting out his Mobtown meat snacks display. But he had no equipment out or anything. Actually, I think it was out on the table, but nothing was set up yet.
It was hooked up, yeah, and it was 12:30 already.
And it was like 12:10 at that point, I think.
Yeah.
And there was about 10, 15 minutes later, I went up to all three of them, and I said, listen, to avoid unleashing the Hulk...
The fury of Lowell Meltzer.
That would be Lowell Meltzer. I said, it might be a good idea to really have this equipment set up and ready. And they all laughed, and Evan's like, all right, I'm on it. And he went and did his thing.
Those guys are great, by the way. Don't you love those guys?
I love that. You know what? As a matter of fact, I know it was short notice, so I wasn't expecting it. But earlier today, I reached out to all three of them and said, hey, you want to come do the Pree-Mium show with us tonight?
Oh, yeah.
They all had prior engagements, and Dennis isn't feeling well, so feel better, Dennis.
Yeah.
But yes, they are great guys, very funny. Casey's funny when he actually speaks.
Right.
And Dennis is hilarious.
Right.
And Evan's a great host. He knows how to keep control of the ship, and he's great on his soundboard, and he really steers that show very well. So I give them kudos, and I enjoy their company when we get together.
I love those guys. I said to Evan, I was like, you're always so close all the time. We should really go grab a beer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Before I move.
That's right.
Yeah,
you should do that.
So, all right, so we had a great time.
Yes, and 4:30 you said you left.
Yeah, and then got home, and I said, all right, I can take a solid, hour here. But then I felt bad because I got home, and Allie was, up to her eyes in Reid.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought about that, actually, for you.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, maybe Lowell will get a chance to go home and take a nap. And then I was thinking, there's no way. She's been with the baby all day.
By herself.
By herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh.
And you were going out that night, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that ain't right, brother.
This is how amazing my wife is. I got home, and I guess she had put Reid down from noon to 2 or something, and he took a solid nap, so she was able to rest.
Good.
And then,
and hey, we should say, even though you revealed it on the last show,
yes,
congratulations to you and Allie for the pregnancy.
Yes,
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Yeah, Allie is pregnant again,
and
we'll find out. I'll reveal what it is when we know. Should be in a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Did you reveal the first time too?
I think he did.
Yeah, on here, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did, yeah.
Yeah. That's, we're going through that, too, on top of everything else.
So, Reid, did she let you actually take a nap?
She did.
Ooh, wow.
So I went to the basement, and I did doze off. You know, like when you're so tired, but you're not sure if you're actually sleeping?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But then when you're, like, ready to get up from the nap, you're like, I definitely slept. I had to have slept.
Right. You question it. You go back and forth.
Yeah, you question, like, I think I was out for a little while.
Right.
I was definitely out. Because I remember looking at the clock.
Yeah.
And then I was, like, thinking in my mind, all right, I'll wake up in an hour. I'll wake up in an hour. And sure enough, like, I went to bed at, like, I went to sleep probably around 5. And then I looked at the clock and it said 6:05. And I was like, all right, I better
mosey on out.
I was like, did I sleep? Yeah, I definitely slept. But like while I was sleeping, Reid was like he was like in a one-man band.
Right.
You know, this big drum and, blowing horns. And so like he was and running around and smashing things
cymbals
upstairs. Yeah. So, I have to tell you another funny story about Reid after this.
Okay.
So then I got ready, took a lift over to the bar to meet the guys for this bachelor party. And the thing about this bachelor party, it was one of these bachelor parties where it was like, you want to do a bachelor party?
Oh.
Just like no real plan.
Oh, really?
And no one was really taking that much charge of it.
That sucks.
Poor groom.
Yeah, so we go to the bar and they're like, oh, what do you want to do now? Oh, you want to go to this bar? All right.
Did you guys do the casinos or anything?
Well, no, I didn't make it that. I didn't make it that long. And I'll tell you when I bailed with my friend Buzz when we went to this bar, the horse you rode in on.
Okay.
And this is one of those, like, everyone in there's 25.
Yeah, right.
Everyone in there's 25.
I often think about this because when we were in our 20s, we were both in town. You hadn't left yet for Iowa. We would often go out on the town and go scamming, try to meet girls and do the whole bar scene. And I remember we would go to these bars and sometimes we'd see some 40-something guys.
Yeah, like
and
doing
we'd
whatever.
comment.
Yeah.
We'd comment like, oh, what is that old fucker doing there?
Yeah.
And so now when I'm that guy, I feel really badly about being there. I just feel very uncomfortable.
I would feel like at this point in my life, I'd be like, I'll F you. Yeah,
I don't know. When you see all the 25 douches running around.
But they're douches and you're like so much further ahead in life than they are. So
and it's like there's some good eye candy in there for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was like we walked in and 3/4 of the group did not have like a problem with it. They were just like, yeah, whatever, it's cool.
Right.
And I just like, you know what? I looked at my watch. It was 10:30. And I was like, you know what? Let's
I've been up since 3.
Now, I will tell you this. If I wasn't in a state of barely keeping my eyes open, I would have seen where the night led.
Sure.
Because I knew they wouldn't have stayed there forever. This was like just a stop.
Yeah.
But
you were running on fumes.
I was running on fumes, and I was praying somebody wanted to leave. And sure enough, my friend Buzz was like, yeah, he's like, I've had enough.
Yeah. Now, did he just come to you, or did you? Because I know you.
No. We kind of were together. We were both drinking a beer, and we were both standing and talking. And finally, I said, what do you think? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I think I've had enough. I said, me too. I said, let's finish these and go. And he's like, all right.
Your eyes just lit up when you
happy.
You had an out.
Yep, so happy. But we did go to this other place and had good burgers and beer, and it was fine. But to make it to 10:30, I was pretty impressed.
Right.
Considering I really didn't, no quality naps.
No way. And you'd been up forever. I mean, you got up at 3 a.m.
And then the next morning, I woke up with like a sore throat. So like I was like definitely overdid it. You know, and Allie was like, yeah, you overdid it.
You overdid it, but don't think you're going to get to sleep in and relax with that sore throat in your skirt.
Right. Well, no, I did all the next day I did a lot of errands for her. I did the groceries and all that. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, you said you had a Reid story that you had to tell me.
He's definitely my son.
Uh-oh.
So he has these plastic golf clubs that my dad and his wife got for him. he got them like several months ago when he was a little younger, and he would just be like dragging them on the floor.
Sure, right.
Well, now he's figured out that he can swing them around and hit things with them.
Oh, that's good.
So, he takes them and pushes the ice maker with it, and the ice starts falling out. And
can't do that, Reid.
He's figured out he can do all this stuff. So then he's like and then he starts dragging it on the wall and making marks. And so I took it away from him.
Uh-oh.
And now he's at that age where it's like epic meltdowns.
Yep.
Epic. Like,
he's at that age, and he has Meltzer blood running through his veins.
Yeah, he is just... It's like it's the end of the world.
Do you just laugh? I mean, like,
no, you don't laugh in the moment.
No,
you gotta ignore. Actually, you just gotta walk away.
Right.
Because if you try and say anything, it just feeds it, and it's like,
right.
Yeah, it's like you're just cranking the crank,
just extending the flip.
Yeah, it's
cranking the crank.
Yeah, just cranking it. It's like it's winding down, and then you start cranking it again.
Yeah.
So finally, I'm like, all right, Reid, all right, you can have the club back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
you gave into it?
I gave it back to him.
Oh.
And he grabs it.
Yeah.
And he looks at me like he wants to kill me.
Oh, no.
And he swings it at me, the golf club.
Oh, no.
Like as hard as he could, swung it at me.
Wow.
I hope you took it back then.
I did. And I said, that's it, buddy.
Yeah.
And then he had a meltdown, and then he forgot about it.
Right.
So then it's like 2 days later, and we hid them, and he found them, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's walking around with them. We're like, all right, fine, because we were eating dinner.
Yeah.
I'm eating dinner. I have some barbecued chicken, some sweet potato, and some green beans on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere, this golf club comes at 100 miles per hour on my plate.
Oh, no.
And smashes the food everywhere.
Oh, God.
And the golf clubs went in the trash can after that.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's about time to really, if you're going to hide them in a place that there's no way he would show up and find them or trash them.
Outside dumpster.
Yeah, that was the end of that. And and that was the other night, and he was in a mood. Yeah. He was just in a mood. Mm-hmm. Nothing was making him happy, but throughout the week, he gets better.
I don't know anyone like that.
Yeah. So had some good Reid adventures for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is,
It's getting harder. It's getting harder.
And then just throw in ananother baby while you're at it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Start it all over again.
You'll be seeing a lot of me. That's for sure.
But the good news, though, is, I mean, look, he's still a toddler, but he will be older and he will be more communicative.
Yeah.
You'll be able to reason a little more with him then, once you've got the baby, than, say, right now.
Yeah, at least when we can start communicating, it'll be...
Yes. It'll be a little better. How has his words been? Is he talking up a storm yet? Or
yeah, he's getting a decent vocabulary. His favorite things to say are uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
He loves to say uh-oh.
Did he say that when the golf club landed on your plate?
No, that was not an uh-oh. But he thought it was funny. And the problem is you try and reprimand him, and he just laughs at you.
Right.
So that's like, it doesn't...
Yeah, it's hard to do.
It doesn't help, yeah.
And they're cute, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, but when he looked at me and just took a swing, Allie saw it too. You know, we wanted to be mad at him, but we were laughing so hard because of the look on his face.
Oh, I wish I could have seen that.
I know, like this look, like he was like and then took a swing.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That bub, he's something.
He is something else. He's quite a character.
Well, speaking of characters, Lowell, you had tipped me off right around my birthday last week. There was a particular person that we know that was in the news recently.
Oh, Bonards. Oh, wait. Off. Right before you talk about this, and you may have to bleep this out.
Okay.
That text that Allie sent you yesterday, I actually sent that from her phone.
She told me that.
Okay.
She told me that afterwards. Lowell, I will say this. We don't have to name names.
Yeah. Did you laugh?
Yes, of course I did. There's a friend of ours that there's always been, not always, but there from time to time, there's this little running gag that he may be gay. Okay. Not making fun of gay people, just saying that, he's a straight guy, but he just kind of has that look to him. Okay. And there was a picture with him.
And there's also people that we know that are gay that thought he was.
He was.
That's how we really started thinking about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like they pointed it out.
Yes. And so there's a picture that he had posted recently of him and another guy who also kind of fit that part.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it was just kind of, again, back to what I said earlier, adding fuel to the fire. It was so clear. It seemed like, oh, okay, here it is. And Lowell had sent me this picture that they found, and yes,
and that's
I saw
what
that.
Thought. But he would not be.
No,
thrilled.
not be happy.
Yeah.
Not be happy.
Right.
But Jonah, actually, here I've got something for us to start this segment.
Jonah in the news.
Jonah in the news. So if everybody remembers, a while back, while Jonah was on his hiatus, he did send us a video of him protesting for the right to keep his apartment before this big bad company came and hiked up the rent and, that kind of stuff. So Jonah was protesting it. And I had even mentioned on that show that he had said that a news reporter had come to interview him.
Yeah. So they must have done like a more in-depth piece because it didn't air the day that they came to interview him.
Right, because I guess just last week it had come out on this local, I think it was a CBS affiliate, of Jonah in the news.
I wanted to ask Jonah if he hit on the reporter.
Oh, right. She was kind of cute.
Yeah. Bonards.
No, he wouldn't do that to Megan.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yes, that's another thing we can't talk about right now. Everything is great, but we can't talk about the something that...
Yeah, I'll ask Lisa off air.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So I did pull this clip, but I was debating on whether or not to play it because it was kind of not terribly exciting. So I spiced it up a little bit. Okay, so here it is. Jonah... Oh, here, I'll do it. I'll let Buzz do it.
Jonah in the news.
Anyone who has tried to rent a place in the Denver area knows finding something affordable is tougher than ever. Some renters are getting pushed out of the market altogether.
Jonah Berger pays just under $1,000 for a one-bedroom apartment in Glendale.
Out of my one-bedroom apartment.
I am right up against the level of which I could afford.
Berger says his older apartment doesn't have many updates, but it has everything he needs.
I like my sink just the way it is. I don't need a new sink.
And it's one of the few places he can afford.
I make enough money to afford average bills.
Now he's been notified that at the end of his lease, he has to move out. The building is being renovated, and he can move back in at a higher rate.
The Cardinal Group, you keep your sinks. I'll keep my home. How about that?
I can't afford to move twice in the next 3 months, much less move back in for the right to pay several $100s more in rent. Was not possible for me.
Berger says he and others like him are getting squeezed out of the market, and he held a protest to voice his concern.
Morally, this is not right. This is not right. What you're doing is prioritizing money over people.
Then goes the fun. Then goes the soul. Then goes the diversity. Then goes the flavor. Then goes the love of this neighborhood.
As more people move here, the demand for housing increases and the prices go up. George says the key to easing the crunch is that sound: construction.
We need more starter homes.
That's a long-term solution that will not help Berger nor Randy.
A rich company making much, much more money on the backs of poor people who are already paying rents that are far higher than what they can afford.
Jonah in the news.
And there he is, the famous Jonah Berger in the news.
Boom.
I stayed in that apartment.
That's right. You were there.
How was it? How was that tiny one-bedroom apartment?
Yeah.
It was Jonah, man. It was so perfectly Jonah.
They didn't show his Candle Mountain.
No, they
didn't.
But I did tease him. I'm like, because his desk is there, and I was saying, in that footage, he opens like this little cabinet and reaches in. I'm like, what were you reaching in the little cabinet for?
Right.
It was oh, for show.
Right.
Yeah, where they were like they asked him to do that or something.
Yeah, just look busy or whatever, I guess. And like he's like, I was flipping, like, remember him flipping paper? They were like blank papers that he was flipping.
Yeah. But his apartment is very Jonah-fied,
right?
I
mean, it's like there's pictures everywhere. There's always like it's just perfect for him. It's like perfect for him.
Yeah. So is he talking about I tried to get Jonah, but he's actually working right now, so we couldn't get him on tonight. But did he say what the latest is with his living situation? Is he planning on moving?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's planning on moving. His lease is up in November, and I was asking him his timeline. So he has a plan for how he's going to attack the search. And
nice.
Yeah, but he's gonna go.
So you went there, and I guess you went there last week, right? Midweek?
Last Tuesday. I was there 1 week.
And then he left like the next day, right?
No, actually, that's what I thought it was. And then he texted me beforehand and was like, okay, so when you get in tomorrow, you're going to, I think we were talking, and I was like, no, I get in on Tuesday. You're leaving on Wednesday. No, I got in on Tuesday at 3.
Yeah.
He had to be at the airport by 6 for his flight out.
On the same day. He was going to see Megan, right?
Wow. Oh, so you just stayed at his place.
Yeah, he picked me up. We went out. We found a little place nearby that had outside seating. So we sat and talked. The dog was there. And then I drove him back to the airport. I mean, I didn't even get to go to his house with him.
Oh.
He said, I dropped him off at the airport. Okay, like I had his address, and he's like, all right, when you get close, give me a call because it's kind of confusing.
Oh, great.
So I drove to his place, and then before I got off the highway, his gas light came on, and I was like, shh, So there was
that's a great move right there.
So I had to stop and get gas, and I called him and he didn't answer. So I'm like, well, because I'm like a half a mile from where it says to turn, and I'm like, all right, dude. But right when I got back on the road, he called, and so he is the worst dog owner. When he got Banjo,
yes,
he was at camp, and he never had to be on a leash. So this dog does not like a leash, and Jonah's like, he listens. He doesn't listen to...
Really?
He does not really at all. And so he's like, yeah, Banjo will just walk you up to the door. So there's like all these different building numbers. And so I'm walking around just following the dog. And I'm like...
You're hoping the dog is going to show you where to go?
Right. And he keeps like walking. I'm like, dude, go home. Go home. Jonah's like, yeah, he'll walk you right up to the door. No. And he didn't give me that good of direction. So I just like walking around. Finally, I found the place. But yeah, I had his place and his car for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And you watched the dog.
And I watched the dog.
Okay.
Saturday, he flew back in early in the morning, so he landed at 8:30 in Denver. So I was there. I parked the car, walked in and met him. We had coffee because my sister came in at 9:30 and my other sister came in at 10:30, and we rented a car and drove to Boulder and then up to Estes Park because we had a family wedding to go to. But the earlier part of the week, I got to play around and got to do some sightseeing. I did go whitewater rafting.
By yourself?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was not... I've been twice before, and both times I was in a full boat. This time I was in a boat. It was the guide and then 3 of us total. Okay. And so, like, I was the only one on the right side, and I had a great time my other 2 times whitewater rafting. This was just not so good.
Well, you know what? I feel like when you do something like that, whitewater rafting, you got to go with people you know, first of all. I just feel like you have more fun that way.
It needed to be a full boat. Like, the experience itself is so fun, though. It's like, it's, adrenaline rushing and, like, just so fun. But this guy was such a douche. And so he was like scolding us and yelling at us. At one point, the boat like basically flips, which had never happened to me before either. And
oh, God.
I didn't fall all the way out of the boat because my foot was essentially stuck in the pocket where you're supposed to keep it safe or whatever. And he starts yelling at me. If you break your fucking knee because you don't want to get in the water, and like I'm like, dude, my foot is stuck.
Yeah,
dude, I would have complained about this guy.
It was pretty intense. So the water level was low. So where you have to, like, when you whitewater raft, there's like places you wedge your feet to kind of keep in the boat.
Yeah.
And every time we would hit rocks certain ways from underneath, it would kill my foot.
Yeah, I remember doing that too.
And it kept happening, and like it would hurt so bad. I'd be like, "Ow!" Because it hurt. And he was like, "Well, watch out for the rocks." I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know which rocks are going to be ripping my foot up or whatever." It probably was just a minute, but it felt like 5 minutes. He said he would go rock, Here comes a rock.
Man.
Watch out. Here comes a rock. I said, okay, smartass. You know what? My foot is no longer wedged. So if we hit something, I'm just going to fly out.
Right.
Just so you know.
Did you call him a
smartass?
Smartass?
Yes.
Good for you.
I'm like, dude, I paid for this. Like, and that's the thing. I want to have fun. And he was stressing me out.
Right.
Because he would scold us and like, listen, when I say this, you need to do this. And then we would do what he said, but he would always say like 1 forward, 2 forward, 1 back, 2 back, whatever. So then all of a sudden he calls out something he never called before, all forward. So we all go forward, 1. But he didn't say, when I say all forward, you just keep going until I tell you to.
Gotcha.
So then we're stuck. So then he starts yelling at us that we could have made it if we had done what we were supposed to do. And dude, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, this is
I don't
supposed
blame
to be
you.
fun.
That sucks. I would
So
be
that kinda
really
sucks,
aggravated
but
with that.
I will say this.
Yeah.
He did sound like Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, so you kind of closed your eyes.
He was from West Virginia, and he had this little kind of twang like Matthew McConaughey. And I was like, all right.
Yeah. So you were closing your eyes and envisioning hot
He got
Matthew McConaughey.
nice later on in the trip once
that's
we
good.
were okay.
Now, I want to fast forward to the end of your trip because you had texted me about this on your way, I guess, to the airport. You had to take a shuttle in the airport itself?
To the airport. So
Okay.
like Tuesday is Jonah's super busy day. So he couldn't take me to the airport Tuesday morning. My flight left at 7.
Okay.
So you have to be there 2 hours ahead of time, right? So you have to be there at 5.
So he wasn't doing anything at 5 in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just...
He could have.
He could have taken me to the airport. So you call the shuttle, and of course, what time do I have to be at the place where the shuttle can pick me up? Because it's not just picking me up; it's picking up a bunch of other people. 4:20. I have to be there.
Oh my God!
Where did you have to be?
So Jonah said
at the shuttle stop.
Well, yeah, which you can give him your address, but his address apparently is so hard to find for people. Right next door to his building is like a Hyatt.
Okay.
So I had to like literally walk right next door to the building, but. So I said, okay, so if I have to be up at 4:20 to be in front of the Hyatt, I got to get up at 4.
Right.
So the night before, we had gone to a show at Red Rocks, and we got out of there at 11:30. I'm yawning the whole last like half hour, and I was just going to stay up, but I was so tired.
Yeah, that might have been a good idea.
Yeah,
But
that's
see,
something
that-
I would do.
But it
Then you could
happened.
have slept on the way home.
Well, that's what you'd think, right? But I did get my second win. We're still up. Jonah goes to bed at 1:30. I'm like, I said, I'm just going to stay up. So I stayed up. At 4 o'clock, I go over there and I'm waiting. This dude pulls up and he's like, hi, are you Lisa? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, yeah, I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, no.
I'm like, okay. And he goes into the bathroom.
Yeah.
So he comes over and he like puts my bags in, and I get in the car and he has me sign something. And he's talking in a way, I don't know, like there's something wrong with him.
Okay.
Like just like he's not a full deck.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's the kind of guy you want driving you.
Right, exactly. So it's a big van. I get in the back of the van and I'm the only one in the van. At one point I texted Victor and said, if I'm missing, it was this guy. I'm telling you. So he talked to himself like, oh, I'm just going to go over here. Yeah, I'll just pull over this way. And, you know, he's doing this the whole time. And then he's breathing like this.
Oh, my God.
And then he starts doing this.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. At one point he hits a bump so hard, and I hadn't put my seatbelt on, and I was like, I should really put my seatbelt on. So, and he's trying to find some place, and it's 4:30 in the morning. It's dark, you can't, and all the rest of the places we went to were personal homes.
Right.
Where people lived. So he pulls up, these people are ready, they come out, they get in the car. They lived there full time. So as he's continued to drive around to other following his GPS, these people, I hear him behind me going, where is he going? Where is he going?
Oh, God.
The guy's trying to see the address. Wherever we pull up next, they said was like 2 minutes away, but we took 10 minutes to get there. They start freaking out a little bit, I think, about their flight. Their flight was at 7. Mine was at 7:05. But they're saying, we have a flight to catch. We have a flight to catch over and over again.
That's the problem with those shuttles.
It is. You have to depend on a lot of people.
Yeah, it's better off just getting your own cab and paying more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at one point, there's road construction, and he's picked up this couple, and now he's picked up a next couple, too. And there's road construction, and so he's like, this road looks closed. He's my driver, and I look up and I see 2 lanes of the 3 are closed. They're doing that thing where they dig up the concrete and relay it down.
But they had a couple of open lanes.
1 open lane. clearly marked by big orange cones. And this guy's like, I think the road's closed. I can't go up there. And I was like, that lane's open. You can go in that lane. You're good.
Right.
And then he passes the big machinery that's working, but there's still the cones set up. And he switches lanes anyway between two cones and starts driving in the lane that's marked off. We're passing people standing there working who are just looking at this dude like, what are you doing? You know, like I looked back at the other people, like my face was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And at this point, I'm getting real sleepy too. So it's like, oh my gosh. So then we pull up to the last place, which he can't find because it's dark and he can't see. And he's saying the same stuff again. Like, it's hard to see the numbers. I can't see the numbers in the houses. And the guy from the first couple goes, so do you have the guy's number or something? Like, can you call him? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll call him. So he calls him. And the guy answered, I guess. He's like, yeah, we're outside. And then he hangs the phone. And then the other guy in the back, we wait a minute, and the other guy goes back, like, dude, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, the thing said, be ready. We have flights to catch.
Right.
So now he's like getting like verbal about it.
Yeah.
And it's making me feel so uncomfortable.
So the guy who's yelling is one of the passengers?
Right.
Okay.
And the slow driver just seems like he's okay with waiting for this dude when, the instructions were very clear. Like, you need to be ready.
Yeah.
And especially, I would think if you've got any kind of common sense, you would just be outside or watching if you don't want to stand outside in the dark for a van or some sort of slow moving vehicle to come down your street so you can get out.
So the guy wasn't coming out.
He eventually came out, but it took his time. But I was just sitting there. I don't know. Like, I was feeling so uncomfortable about the whole situation. Like, I didn't know what Slowy McGee was going to do. And so the other thing is when he did get in, I feel like he kind of paid us back for that behavior by some erratic driving after that, like around the curves to get on the Beltway. There were places where he was driving off the road. His back wheels were like a little bit on the shoulder, but it was like right where there were bumps.
The rumble strips, right?
No, but potholes.
Oh.
Like, seriously, like this guy was like trying to give the people in the back a hard ride.
It's like, who else are you going to get to pick people up at like 4:00 in the morning, you know?
True that.
Right, that's the thing.
True that.
So then what time did you get to the airport then?
This kind of annoyed me. I was the first person to get picked up, so I rode around with everybody else, and I was the last person to get dropped off at my flight at the airport. And so the dude who was the last, we were both at the same airline, so technically he was, we were both getting at the same time, but he forgot to get him to sign his receipt when he first picked him up, like he had everybody else do. So he had him sign his receipt when he got out. So I'm now standing there waiting again.
Right.
For this
and
dude.
What time, like Lowell said, what time is it at this point?
5:45 probably.
Oh, you still had time.
Yeah, so I had plenty of time. But I was kind of pissed about it, so I just opened the back thing and just took my own luggage out.
Good, yeah.
Because I've been waiting the longest now, and so...
Did you send a note to the shuttle company?
No.
I would have complained.
I
Sounds like you've had a lot of bad service on this trip.
Was crazy. I'll tell you, honestly, the trip was fabulous.
Good.
That was a great time. Family time, too. And I got to see Jonah, and I saw a lot of stuff I'd never seen before, and it was just it was awesome. It was so awesome.
I'm glad. Well, since we're on the topic of Colorado... I just came across this story. It was actually on the local news, but it happens to be in Denver. And I'm just curious what you guys think. There is a woman fighting for women's rights, but this one's a little out of the ordinary. I want to hear your guys' take on it.
Collins is hoping the city will change its public indecency ordinance to allow women to walk around topless if they choose to do so.
She is upset with an old city law that specifically targets the female breasts. New tonight, Fox 31 Denver's Kevin Torres is live in Fort Collins, where he spoke with that woman and police about the issue. Kevin?
These days, there are a few things that separate men and women. But in the city of Fort Collins, there's a local law saying this fella can walk around shirtless while his lady friend cannot. For the most part, no one really knew or made a big deal about it.
Until me.
That is, until Brittany Hoagland got involved.
I've been fighting this diplomatically since February.
Hoagland knows there are certain laws people must abide by in a community. But this law, she says, targets women directly.
It is sexist because it specifically discriminates against female breasts.
If it were up to Hoagland, Fort Collins city leaders would trash the current ordinance and rephrase it to allow women to walk around topless, having the same option men do. She's just concerned it might go through one ear and out the next when it comes to council members listening.
I really hope so, but I'm really unsure where they stand. They have not been vocal about it.
To the council's defense, Hoagland has not showed up to one meeting yet or addressed the entire chamber in person, just over email. Only time will tell what comes of this. Until then, Hoagland is preparing more protests.
So he said that later in that piece, he said that she is scheduled to appear and speak in front of the right people. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Should women be able to walk around topless if men can walk around topless?
It's never going to fly. What women are going to do that?
Well, that's the other thing, too.
Yeah.
What women would actually go ahead and do that. I mean, it's a little much.
Right.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone who would do it. But I mean, I see where the point is coming from. Like, if it's okay for one, it should be okay for the other.
I mean, people are still fighting right now to be able to breastfeed in public.
Right. I mean, I don't think it's certainly not going to ever fly.
There's no way that's going to fly.
Or I think a more realistic thing would be just to change the language in general. Like, not boys can, but girls can't because
So you think that men should not be in public shirtless unless maybe at a swimming pool
quite
or
frankly,
the beach?
Yes, I don't necessarily need to see
So that would mean you can't see Matthew McConaughey without his shirt on.
Well, celebrities they do their own thing.
I
see. They certainly do.
They get a free pass.
But I mean, why does a dude need to walk around Fort Collins with his shirt off?
Well, I guess you're right.
I mean, there would be some girls who do, of course, probably do it just because they could. But I don't think it's going to change. The law is going to change.
No,
They'll probably
I don't
just
think
change
the law
language.
will change either. I definitely don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I have one more piece I want to play for you guys, and I'm playing this, Lowell, because your wife has posted about it recently in the Mandel fan group page. The new DirecTV commercials. It's Eli Manning.
Hi, I'm Eli Manning, and I have DirecTV. And I'm bad comedian Eli Manning, and I got cable. What? Only DirecTV's NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every game, every Sunday, all in stunning HD. With cable, I get HD, as in huge disappointment. I get every single play with the most incredible picture.
You want to see a picture of my mother-in-law? Neither do I.
Don't be like this, me. Get NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
That makes me not want to get DirecTV.
Yeah, me too.
And screw the NFL package. Forget it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a cop-out. It's them taking the easy road, just like a lot of movies these days, just trying to milk something that was once good. Mm-hmm. And then, not to mention, then they've got Eli Manning doing it. I mean, Rob Lowe, that one they ran into the ground too, but at least the first couple of them were actually funny.
Right.
And now they get Eli Manning to do it. I mean, what the hell is that all about? It's just awful.
Yeah,
it's awful.
The first time I saw that, I think I texted you and I said,
yes, you did.
Have you seen this train wreck? It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm just...
It's awful.
It's
terrible.
Awful.
It's just awful.
It's terrible.
Makes me sick.
All right, before we wrap up, Lowell.
Yeah.
Now, I know when this posts, you'll have already done at least one 98 Rock fill-in for Spiegel.
Yes, Friday.
So what else is your schedule so people can go online and hear you if they're not in the area?
So this Friday, I guess, will this post by this Friday?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So this Friday morning, and then next week, I'll be on Monday, Thursday, Friday.
Nice. And since these are our premium subscribers, we should say no premium next week between Lowell with his crazy schedule, and I will be on a short vacation in Atlantic City.
Oh, going back to Atlantic?
Yes. Amy is taking me and Maya there.
Oh, maybe you could get more of the man on the boardwalk.
Yes, well, there's always a lot of characters on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
I will definitely try to get a few interviews if I can.
Yes.
So no premium next week. We will do a free show before that. But yeah, so stick around. We'll have more for everybody later in the month.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, that will do it. For the Mark and Lowell Show, please go to Facebook, go to Twitter, friend, and follow us over there. And if you need that information or any other information, Mark and Lowell, just go to markandlowell.com.
And if you want to get me on all the social medias,
we're live outside of the Mitchell Courthouse tonight, I should say. Excuse me. Lowell Melser, WBAL, TV 11 News.
Special thanks to Lisa Runyon.
Hey, you guys can get me on Twitter at Main Idea Cards or check out my blog at The Main Idea. mane.blogspot.com. That's MANE.
And a big shout out to Buzz Burbank, RJ Diaz, and Aaron Lamb. For Lowell Melser, I'm Mark Ronick. We'll see you next time on The Mark and Lowell Show. Bye-bye.
Say no to big business kicking people out of their house. Say no to Denver becoming just like San Francisco. No. Denver's cool. Denver's diverse. Denver has flavor. Not if the Cardinal Group has anything to say about it. They're going to kick everyone out and bring in all the same kind of people. Then goes the fun. Then goes the soul. Then goes the diversity. Then goes the flavor. Then goes the love of this neighborhood. Glendale should be speaking up, but they're going to make millions in higher revenue from taxes of higher rent. So Glendale doesn't say a word. Say no to the Cardinal Group. A rich company making much, much more money on the backs of poor people who are already paying rents that are far higher than what they can afford. And now they want to ask us to pay even more money for the right to have a brand new sink. I like my sink just the way it is. I don't need a new sink. I tell you what, the Cardinal Group, you keep your sinks. I'll keep my home. How about that? That seems like a good deal. You can keep your millions in renovations, and I'll keep my home. I'll keep my home office. I'll let my dog keep his home. You walk away with $50 million in profit last year, and hopefully that will be enough for you. $50 million in profit. Say no. Say no.